Good afternoon, all. I would request Rishabh Pugalia to come on the stage. So before I introduce Rishabh, I would request Arun sir to come and give token of appreciation to Rishabh. Guys, let's applaud for Rishabh. Friends, let me tell you something about Rishabh. Rishabh started his career from Kolkata and presently he is located at Bangalore. So if I have ever been able to deliberate anything on Excel, it is what I learned from Rishabh and Sanjeev sir. That is where my interest in Excel and to explore more and more got generated. We have a detailed profile of Rishabh on the screen. I'll just shortly introduce him. At Content Beta, he works with founder and CMO of B2B SaaS companies on their video content strategy. He has 3 YouTube channels which have close to 500,000 subscribers, and that's really great. Rishabh, we would like to hear from you, not taking any more time. Stage is all yours. Thank you.
Yeah, allow me a moment. A very good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Sarita, for the kind words, and Sanjeev for this warm invitation. There are a lot of things which I will share, but I'd like to keep it something which is actionable so that you can go back and actually apply it. So, your brand, your success, especially the backdrop of the fact that no advertisement, how to move ahead. Before I go into talking about the strategies which you can go back and implement, I believe the limitation that we are starting with is we are already busy with so many assignments, deadlines. So Rishabh, how do we implement what you're going to talk about in the very limited time that we have? So my session, my conversation is going to be around something that you can go back and apply in 1 hour per month. That is the limitation I'm starting with. But before I go, I want to divide my entire talk into 3 parts. What, why, and how. What is today's session all about? Why do we go ahead and do what you're saying? And substance are the important. How do we do it? First, what is this session not about? It's not about video editing. It's not about posting selfies where you went, what you ate last night on social media. It's not about AI-generated generic text and posting just for the sake of posting on a social media. It's also not about a shortcut to become a social media influencer where you'll have 50,000 followers in 3 months. No, this is not today's conversation about. Today's conversation is about working on your personal brand, which is doable, and more importantly, why? To help your profile, professional profile, become discoverable. I meet a lot of people with a lot of talent, expertise, but when I talk in terms of how can people reach you, how can people discover you, a lot of time they do not have an answer. If there's somebody sitting in San Francisco thinking about, hey, I need to get my product launch. I am drafting a GTM or go-to-market strategy for my software product. And I need somebody who specializes in software and SaaS companies and making those content. Who do I approach? Am I discoverable? This guide is about that. And doing all of that in 1 hour per month. So I'm not asking you to create a video team. I'm not asking you to hire somebody. I'm just making sure that your 1 hour per month is utilized to the best. But towards the end, I'll talk about something which is a mindset change. I'm from Calcutta. I spent the first 30 years of my life in Calcutta. And one thing that I've noticed in Calcutta, which I still notice, is we keep a lot of low profile. We know a lot of stuff. We are good at what we are, but we don't tell the world this is what we do. And when I compare to other cities, that's the one difference I find between Calcutta and other cities. So I'll talk about that. So now that we are clear about what this session is not about and what is it about, allow me to give myself a little bit of professional background, because this, whatever I'm going to share with you, is a summation of the experiences, the journey that I have gone through. And without knowing that context, you may not be able to correlate with whatever share I'll be making. That's a quick journey. CA, Big Four auditor. During my times being in finance, IB, trading was the go-to person or the go-to career that one would like to have. I changed my role from hardcore finance to going back into teaching, training. And then this last 3 years, especially 2020, I was introduced to the concept of product launches, product marketing, especially for SaaS and tech companies. So that's basically where my experience is going to come from. So this session, you already know what is it about, what is it not about. Now, why this session? Now, to talk about why this session, I want to introduce you something which is very personal to me. I recently moved to a place in Bangalore, and this is my book collection. I picked one book from this collection, and this is your one word. So I know I'm going into a little bit of framework before I talk about the tools and how do you get this executed, and that's also equally important. As I grew from age 25 to 30, 30 to 35, 35 to 39, I'll be 40 this year, I realized if you have to take tough decisions, decisions that go in a certain direction, you have to summarize your scattered thoughts into 1 or 2 words. And constantly remind yourself of that 1 or 2 words. If you can do that, you will see whatever efforts you were starting with will continue. It will not get distracted by many distractions that we are in the middle of today. So, what is it, that one word that I want all of you to take from today's discussion? One word. Okay. I want to pause here for 10 seconds. One word. As professionals, one word. Are you discoverable for the skill that you have to offer to the world, the expertise that you have to offer to the world? What do I mean by discoverable? And I want you to do this exercise. Everybody has notepad and a pen? Okay, I'm going to give you 2 to 3 words. I want to write those 3 words as a list. Do this small exercise. It might sound elementary at this point, but trust me, there's a reason for that. Constitution and law. Take this as one word. Constitution and law. Second, mutual fund. So 2 phrases, point 1, point 2. Now, I will ask you a question, and you have to write 2 names against these. Okay. People who you already meet in your networks, don't give their name, because you already know them by first person. I want you to give me 1 name each to this list. What was the list name? First? Okay. Second? Okay. If you can associate any one single individual whose book you may have read, whose podcast you may have listened to, whose article you may have gone through, against those 2. Take 30 seconds, no worries. Try to give a name who you have not met in person or a regular basis. From your friends, no. From your relatives, no. Law and constitution. And it doesn't have to be right or wrong answer, okay? It could be different for different people. Think of one name which you can connect with law and constitution in today's time. Person who's alive. Person who you don't meet day to day, every day. And give us another name to the point number 2, which is mutual fund. So if I have to, make some logical deduction about a decision regarding mutual fund, some of you may have some names, some of you may not have some names. But I would like to ask from the room here, what name did you come up with the point number 1? Sorry? Okay. There could be multiple names, okay? So there's no right or wrong answer. Huh? Okay. Okay. So a lot of these few names are still alive today. J. Sai Deepak. How many of you have heard about him or seen his podcast? Maybe 10% of this room, maybe less than that. There'll be other names, some more hands will come up. But if I collect, let's say 5-6 names, there'll be almost 50% of the people raising hand in this room, right? You may not have a chance to meet with them on a day-to-day basis, but still, you're associating. So if you have to read about that topic, you would go to that person's website or book or podcast. This is what I mean by discoverable. Are you giving him immediate business? Maybe you cannot afford their fees right now. Maybe 1 lakh for half an hour, maybe 15 minutes. You can't afford it. But is the person discoverable? Yeah, I can see that. There are people who know even you have not met them. So this is what I mean by discoverable. That whatever expertise, whatever knowledge, whatever profession you are in, are you discoverable to the world for that? So that is the one word I want you to take. Now, going deeper. Why? Please have a look at an idea. Most of your audience is not ready to purchase yet. Build your brand so that when they are, you are their first choice. It takes years. If you're really fast in this digital tech savvy world, maybe even lesser than that, months. Now, this is why we want to be discoverable. So, how to get there? I'll talk about this. But before, let me go into a little bit of journey. I totally understand that, look, I can tell you 20 different checkpoints, but your schedule may not allow you to execute that. So I have purposely kept in mind, one, we may not be having access to a lot of tools knowledge. We may not have the bandwidth to execute. So the two things I want to now proceed towards is, whatever I discuss from now on to help you build your personal brand, to help you become discoverable is, one, make the system doable for you. If I tell you something जो आप नहीं कर पाओ, that's not the success of this discussion. And two, the continuity should be on. अचानक से कभी आप motivational speaker की कोई video देखते हो, अच्छा लगता है, 2 दिन बाद goes off. It's a natural tendency. No, nothing against the speaker, but this is a natural human tendency. So there are two things I want to move ahead with. Now, a lot of you would have seen this pattern in social media. Some chat GPT generated text, an attempt to engage with your audience, and a picture making you look very busy. This is not personal branding. This is not personal branding. It works for some people because there is a vanity metric that, hey, I have so many followers. How many of them can be your buyer and decision maker in your favor? Followers and likes is not buyers and decision making. I've seen many people who boast about, youngsters, 1 lakh subscribers, 1 lakh followers. But you'll also see in the circle in the LinkedIn open to work. Do you realize the satire there? Open to work. So that's what I'm saying. Likes and follower does not automatically translate into buyers and decision makers. My focus is on the second line, not on the vanity metric that how can you get 50,000 subscribers, 30,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers. No, you only need a handful of 1,000 people who connect you to the right decision maker or are the decision maker themselves. Now, with that thing in mind, some context setting here. A little bit backdrop of on my story. Everybody's story will be different, okay? But the fundamentals won't change. And to help you explain the fundamentals of the execution plan that I'm going to share with you, I must give some backdrop. This is my journey from 2010 to 2020. 3 YouTube channels. 1 is in Hindi, 2 is in English. Okay. Yes, one can say, Rishabh, you started as an instructor. Agree. Now, when I ran this YouTube channel, people started associating me with certain keywords. The way you associated some people's name against law and institution or mutual fund. The keywords were Excel, charts, Power BI. Now, when people started searching for Excel consulting, VBA consulting, automation consulting, I'm talking about 2011-12, when so many tools did not exist, I became discoverable. I did not have to go to somebody's office to say, hey, I do this. I probably had to go to show a demonstration so that we can get into nitty-gritties and detailing. But I became discoverable. But Rishabh, I have a question. You probably devoted your whole time in creating videos, but as you said, I have 1 hour. How do I do it? Does your formula work for me? Not the immediate formula, but the fundamentals which I'm going to share. How can you execute along with certain tools name? I'm not here to give you 50 different tools. These are all wonderful tools. But I 100% know that if I give you a list of 50 tools, nothing's going to happen. I'll just give you 3 tools name. Okay. Second, just in continuation. This is one platform, YouTube. Are there more platforms? Yes. Another platform which gave me a lot of discoverability. And I'm not sharing all the other platforms, just 2 samples. Now this was in terms of video. Video was a medium of communication. Can there be more? Yes. And let me give you a very, very interesting example. I'm going to spend extra 2 minutes on this example because this has been a very big milestone in my personal life. Long time back, I think somewhere in 2017, I came across a report of Bain and Company, one of the 3 consulting firms, as we call them, MBB, McKinsey, Bain, Boston Consulting. I found that their report had a certain method of explaining something. What I did was I went to their website, downloaded close to 50, 60 reports, read through all of them, curated approximately 10 to 15 themes on how to communicate from their own lines, which you can go back and apply in your consulting report. I curated that and I made it free. You know what happened? Apart from the top picture that you can see, apart from the likes in the comments. Now, is there a lot of likes and comments from people who love music? No. Most of these likes and comments came from people who were in the consulting domain. Now this, what did it give me? It got me a foot in the door of a major client, which is still a client today. I sent the report and I said, hey, we are connected on LinkedIn. I recently prepared a compilation. I'm sending this to select LinkedIn Connect, who are in the consulting domain. And what was the response? Could we connect on the below? That was a start of a major client relationship, which still exists today. So I became discoverable through this mode of communication. It could be video, it could be writing. Now, when you're creating this, you can't predict that who's going to watch the video, who's going to write the text for you. But they will start associating you with certain keywords. So what is the keyword that they started associating me with? Bain, Big 3, consulting, business report writing. This is your brand. Anand sir spoke about pattern and rule-based pattern versus pattern, and the word is association. Now, all of this, why am I sharing with you? Because you need to understand the backdrop before I start getting into the execution. I'll keep some time for Q&As because this requires a very hands-on approach in terms of me sharing something what I've learned over the years. Now, this was what my journey was from 2010 to 2020. Especially after pandemic, I had to be known for different word. I wanted to be discovered for different other than what I had already been associated with earlier. So my ICP changed. Can anyone tell me what is ICP? It's a very scientific way of thinking about a business where it's going to come from. It's called ideal customer profile. Who is your ideal customer profile is a start of a very beautiful introspection. Before this 2021, my ICP was any organization where there is a significant turnover every year. People are using research tools and analytics to produce result and give service to their client. Why? Because imagine two situations. One company is Tata Motors, one company is a Big Four consulting firm. Okay. Tata Motors makes money by selling automobiles. 90% of the resources are around that factory, managing the factory, raw material procurement, logistics, etc. When you compare that, the revenue stream as compared to a Big Four, their revenue comes from manufacturing. No. Advice, research, correct? And the nature of the industry is that people leave every 1.5 years. Now there are two things here to observe. One, my potential client's revenue is based on research data. And two, every year 15% leave the company, another 15% will join the company, who will require upskilling. Can you imagine that in Tata Motors? People will stay for years. So I defined my ICP that I will focus on companies like Big Four. If Tata Motors come to me, happy to serve them. But is that my focus? No. Similarly, when I moved to 2021, my ICP changed. Now, Rishabh, why are you discussing about ICP? Please have patience. I exactly know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Rishabh, you're going to talk about tools and execution, right? Why are you giving this gyan? This is very important. My ICP changed to tech and SaaS companies based out of US. Not India, out of US. And why tech and SaaS companies, Rishabh? Because I had a background of a little bit of analytics. So when they talk certain things which relates coding or automation, we could talk in the same language. Now my ICP changed from an Indian consulting firm to a tech and SaaS company, which is based on the US and which requires a lot of content to make sure that they are able to become more discoverable. Why discoverable, Rishabh? Because in SaaS, people give you money based on month, subscription-based business, month on month, quarter, year on year. If they don't like your product or it's not useful, they will unsubscribe. They will unsubscribe, your revenue goes down by that proportion. So it's very important to keep updating your content, ensuring that your existing customers are able to make the best use of those software. And for that, you need to ensure that you are able to help them achieve success with your software. Now, the problem with me was, I was getting associated with Excel, Power BI, and basic consulting, like a typical Big Four consulting. I could not become discoverable to this ICP. So here's what I did. One, I'm an Indian face. I'm not a native to American. That's my disadvantage. Correct? On the other hand, my writing does not need a face. In the sense it's all text. So I had to change my strategy from video focused to writing focused. Because writing, apart from the small profile picture, it's not like a video where an American native would like to see me or may not like to see me. I don't know. So here's what I did. I taught myself how people in that region speak. People like to buy from people. This is a partial statement. People like to buy from people who they can connect with, who speak in their language. So then I started writing a lot of content, and I'll go a little deep into that slightly later, because then I will have to introduce you to concept of tofu, mofu, top of the funnel marketing, bottom of the funnel marketing. But it took me 3 to 5 months to start seeing result. If you go to Google US right now and type the word remote video testimonials, in the top 10, you'll have 2 of my blogs appearing there. I'm becoming discoverable to that audience. I don't have to meet them. They come to us, we discuss, we finalize, the business relationship starts. Minimum ticket size $3,000. This is what I want you to have as well. You become discoverable for the various services and expertise you provide. Now, first step is, now that you've understood what is discoverable, you have to define your ICP. So I want you to write this word ICP in your notepad. I will get this presentation uploaded. Write the word ICP. Write 2-3 words around what your ICP is. You may not need, I may not ask you, it could be confidential. Yeah, ideal customer profile. For example, let me correlate with my journey. Earlier, my ICP was big four audience, people in India who are looking to upskill. Today, my ICP is a US-based SaaS and tech company. So my ICP changed, my ideal customer profile changed. I want to become more discoverable to my second ICP. Similarly, you will have a certain ICP. So I want you to think your business in terms of ICP. I do not deny the fact that meeting people is, is waste. No, it's helpful. What I'm showing is an alternative, parallel path that besides meeting people in person, which is having a limitation. You can't meet 10 people in a day. You can't meet people sitting in a different geography. You can't meet people who you never connected with just like that. So I'm giving a parallel channel, how you become discoverable. Now, I see people, some of who have attempted this exercise of writing their ICP, defining their ICP, you will struggle. How many of you are struggling to define your ICP? It's a very natural tendency. I too struggle. I spend entire one Sunday only, then I'm able to write 3 lines. It's not easy to define ICP. Because since we are not clear about ICP, we do not know how to strategize to become discoverable. So if time permits, I'll go a little bit into ICP, how to think through. But since I've introduced you a world, this word you can experiment and read more about on the internet. You'll get a lot of strategies and framework, how to find your ICP, etc. But the way to think is ICP. Google सबके पास है, but Google में search क्या करना है? Search क्या करना है? Excel सबके पास है, book भी सबके पास है. We have open book examination for certain examination. But why do you think open book के बाद भी सब लोग rank नहीं लाते हैं? वो जो सवाल पूछा है, the question that has been asked, वो कौन से पेज पे है? वही नहीं पता. So, this limited time will allow me to give you a certain direction. Then the next step is you going ahead. I fully understand that while I'm giving the direction, I also have to keep in mind not to overwhelm you so that it doesn't become doable. Now that we've spoken a little bit about discoverable, I give you some examples from my own context, and I'm not going to details of how much of these content gave me business, direct and indirect. Without meeting them, they discovered me. Now, discoverable through your content. How do we do this, Rishabh? This is the most interesting part. Abhi tak whatever I shared was the context. Now I'll talk about very limited stuff which you can go back and apply. Anand sir did speak about the fact that, we like to collect a lot of notes. But it becomes difficult to go back and implement those notes. So I'll keep the notes very short, purposely. I may have access to 50 tools, but I'll give you only 3 or 4. उतना ही जितना सबसे कम पैसा लगे या फ्री में हो, ठीक है? So yeah, our thoughts match that way. How? If I'll divide my how into two parts, video and writing. Sometimes some people feel that I'm a video person. Some people know I'm a very private person. I don't like to, come before the camera. It's okay. Even I'm like a very antisocial person. You'll not find me attending social gatherings in my personal life. That way I'm a very private person. अब है तो है, क्या करें? So in that case, I find another route. So I have answers for every people who like to meet people who like to stay private, answers for both. First, in terms of video. How many of you know of this tool called Loom? Loom, L-O-O-M. I see around 5 to 6 hands. Okay. Rishabh, what does this do? And is this the best software for what it does? Is it free? ये आपको क्यों लग रहा है मैंने पिक्चर राइट वाला साइड में रखा है? फ्री वाला. हर डिसीजन में if there is a friction, the decision gets delayed. If this asks you for a $50 fee on credit card, the decision of you using this will get delayed. You'll not end up using. So I had to be very thoughtful in terms of what is the tool I can allow you to, refer to, which is free, very well renowned, highly rated. I myself have used it. So I'm not going to give you anything which I have not used. Now what Loom does is, it gives two things. You can open your browser, click on the record button. It will record your full screen along with the camera bubble, which if you want to switch off, you can also do that. Now why is this important? I 100% understand a majority of us are in domain which requires law, which requires legal, which requires contract, which requires maybe access to the site of MCA or GST or TDS. So your sharing of knowledge will require you to share your screen. You can't simply give gyan without showing some practical stuff if this is the field you have chosen to be in. So Loom video, free, 25 videos per person, 5 minutes per video. This is sufficient for you. Use it to record the videos. Don't worry about beautifying the videos. Please don't. Because most of us think, arey video matlab video editing team, tools, editing, text coming from there, left, right. Trust me, no. After having ran 3 channels on YouTube, 500,000 subscribers, I will say, people who are fully into video production, for them, it's all the time video. They are okay if they have to employ a video editor. You are not in the profession of video production. You are in the profession of the expertise that you have right now. So, do not go for 10 out of 10 strategy. That means एकदम perfect होना चाहिए. मेरे यहाँ पे थोड़ा कुछ अजीब सा दिख रहा है. मेरे यहाँ मूंछ कम कट गई है. Don't think about these. Okay? So this is the tool number 1. Try this. Start making short recordings and share with the world. Do not think about whether your shirt is ये थोड़ा ऊपर, ये थोड़ा नीचे. Just start recording. 2. Second tool is Descript. Again, they have a free version which is sufficient for you. What is Descript? Now, video editing, as I said, this session is not about video editing. I'm not asking you to hire some video editor, okay? Most of you work with Word document. In fact, everybody works with Word document. You edit the text, you delete the paragraph, you add your paragraph, you make comments, correct? Now imagine if you recorded that Loom video and you do not want certain parts to be included in the final uploaded version. Maybe you made some a gaffe, maybe some fumble, and you are very conscious about it. But Rishabh, that means I have to download a video software and cut the parts, edit part out. I don't have that expertise, nor do I have the time to supervise a video editing. Now this tool, what it does, if you simply drag and drop that video clip, it transcribes the entire voice into a text like this. You simply have to choose the text that you don't want and press delete like a Word document. That is automatically taken away from the audio piece. So you're not doing video editing, you are doing Word doc editing, which is resulting in video editing. Now, this is most appropriate for you. Why? Because, again, as I said, we are not a team of video editors here. We are not video production. So you are just using Word document. Now, there are other features. For example, you can give captions, you can give headlines, you can give a progress bar. But this is something bare minimum, free, and I believe you have access to 1 hour of audio and video transcription every month, free version. So in that 1 hour that you're spending every month, even if you record a 15-minute Loom video, good enough, free version good enough. So अभी तक जो मैंने बताया Loom and Descript कहीं लिख के रखिएगा, or they'll ask the team to share the presentation on the website also. The third, if you want to go slightly above in terms of quality. So Anand sir, when you get the video of you speaking here today, there were so many insights. I have kept a note of them, and the most beautiful thing that I kept a note of is purple people. A lot of people, 95% including me, did not know about this term. This is your expertise. You think it's obvious, arey ye to hai obvious, but it's not obvious to us and the people out here. How many people here? Maybe what? 100? 150? There are 10,000 people out there outside this room who would not know and who would find this term very relevant. But you are not a video editor. You are not a video production company. So this simple tool, they have a free, but it's a very limited one. So again, this $10 per month, so very, very cheap. It just picks up your video, adds a lot of automatic effects, including those animated text, which you already see on the YouTube. आप scroll ज़रूर करते हो. JSI Deepak, the videos that you see of text coming in, zoom in, zoom out. I want a tool which is automatic doing that. By the way, can anybody name this gentleman? Mr. Beast, yes. The highest revenue earning YouTuber. He's using this, or was using at the initial stages of his career. Okay. And how much the tool cost? Maybe $10, $12, not more than that. Again, is it necessary? No, no, no. Loom and Descript free versions are good enough. This is only if you want to go one level above. I personally experimented. I ran on my Excel Hindi channel, shorts video on Excel. It gave me approximately 1200 to 1800 views in the first 3 days. And I ran small meme and face-based shorts. It had 8,000 views. So the same recording, which if Anand sir posts on YouTube, whatever he shared with us today, probably will have, I can tell you in writing, 300 views in the first 1 month. I have data because I checked my data. Even the CA presidents, when they speak, it will have 1,000 views over 5 years' time. But if you post the same 1 minute clip of that video share and put it on shorts, look at the numbers, it will be at least 7 to 8 times. You become discoverable for the expertise that you are sharing with us today. So these are the 3 tools. Now, this was around video. Rishabh, are there any better tools? Are there more expensive and more advanced tools? Yes, there are. But as I said, I want to give you something which you can go back and apply and not restrict, overwhelmed by the different tools that you have access to. Next. Now I'll come to about how writing. It's a 20-second clip. I created this in 2015. It's a black and white, typical Xerox karaya hua. Nothing fancy about this book. No publisher, nothing. If I had to put a value on this book today, how much businesses gave me directly or indirectly, or I'm not even talking about business, how much it made me discoverable, I would put a value of more than 1 crore to this book. To this book alone. Not just because it gave me direct and indirect business, or it kept my business sticky, but it also introduced me to a lot of people who I could not be discovered by earlier. This was pirated by a lot of people in India, but that's okay. And I moved on. But that's a different story. The story here is writing can also be a good medium to get discovered if you're not a video person. Fine. But Rishabh, writing does it mean just writing any book? Wait, I must also tell you about my failure. A lot of people do not know I had written a book on ISKA, one of the dreaded subjects. information system control audit. You can see by the year, it's almost like 2012, very early stages of my career. Very good book. I used to use a lot of mnemonics. People who used this book gave me feedbacks. 55, 65 average में आ ही जाता था exemption level पे. But this book did not get popular. There was a problem. Can anybody guess what is the problem? Why did not get popular despite having good result? Because I was using the same book for my coaching at that point in time. This book was not discoverable. I did not go ahead and made video based on this book or write about these books or did anything about distribution. So despite having put a lot of effort, there are only 2 versions of this book are remaining right now in this world. One is in my Calcutta house, one is in my Bangalore house. That's it. So we will get into the nitty-gritties of that. What are the different forms of writing that you can start? Email newsletter, social media articles, PDF ebook, an example that you just saw. And yeah, let me go back. These 3. But Rishabh, itna sara samay kaise nikalunga? As I said, I'll give you a few options. Pick one platform, pick one medium. You don't have to do everything. Trust me, if you do everything, you'll do nothing. So, email newsletter, social media articles, PDF book. Okay, Rishabh, but then how do I execute this? What are the do's and don'ts and what is the mindset I need to go ahead and do that? All the tools and the books that I'm sharing today, I get no commission, no affiliate commission, okay? So it's basically based on my experience. I would want you, if you have Kindle, you can buy this book for 400, 500. You can take a picture or you can get the presentation later. If you think writing can be a medium of your communication to help you become discoverable. There's a whole lot of mindset, but again, I'll make it summarized. To be able to write online, the first rule is, yes, you may have your own website. You may want to upload the newsletters there. You may want to upload the PDFs there, but there's a fundamental flaw there. What is the traffic of your website? How many people visit your website every day? Some of you may have numbers, some of you may not because you never bothered. But most likely it's going to be 50, 30 people every day. Now, what if that platform is 1,000 times bigger? 30,000, 50,000, 50 million readers every day. So first things first, if you want to become discoverable through your writing, start with a platform that already has an active audience. Fundamental mistake I made, I thought I'll make my own website, put my own picture, put my own writing, but that's the most fundamental mistake I made. I did not start the writing with anything which was already popular. So that could be any social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, you have many options today. So first rule of the game is platform with an active audience. So if you're writing on LinkedIn, good idea. If you're writing for Twitter, good idea. But if you're writing and putting that on website, very less people are going to help find that content. 2, the style of writing. Most of us, how much time? Okay. Most of us were rewarded in the early stages of our schooling for writing a lot. Jitna likhoge, marks milega. CBC people had the limitation of words. 10 marks means 120 words and so on. But in general, we had the habit, jitna likhoge, utna milega. Here, quite the reverse. If you're writing something, the style of writing should be easy to skim. There's a difference between reading a book and people reading on the website. When people go to the website and start reading, they ask a very simple, fundamental question subconsciously. Hey, what's in it for me? Scan, scroll down, and bahar nikal jao. It's called bounce rate in Google terms. Bahar nikal jao. Drop off. So if you're not able to hold people to your writing, they leave. And one of the fundamental things to people hold on to your writing is to make it easy to read. So when you buy this book or even if you Google skimmability and the authors, you'll get several articles on what is skimmability. But in general sense, how many of you use ChatGPT to write things? I think everybody, at least 50%. Okay, I'll come to that in some time. Next. Those who use ChatGPT recently in the last 7 to 10 months, writing something, I'm not sure, I'll not ask you to raise hand, but you will see a few patterns. the likes will be restricted to 3 or 4 single digit likes. Okay, and most likely they are going to be like your favorite loyal person or favorite supporter who will like you irrespective of what you write. Okay, they are not your buyers or customers. So that is not your ICP. So I found a framework which has helped me tremendously. PACS. As professionals, there are various frameworks you can follow, but I can tell you with my own data, this framework has worked the best across geography, across cultures, and across professions. What is T? Tactical. This isn't a generic idea I've heard a million times. Okay. Now, it's good when you're sensitizing people about a new direction. ChatGPT is very important. It can do 10 hours task in 2 minutes. This is generic. It is ideal for those audiences who are getting introduced to this concept. We call this in marketing terms called top of the funnel marketing. People who are just aware, very basic, generic. But your audience, who's potentially a decision maker or a purchaser of your product or services, is more mature. He doesn't want to hear you saying ChatGPT is very important. He wants to you say a lot more technical stuff. So ensure that your writing passes this text of being tactical. Actionable, something that I'm just following as I'm speaking. I can put into practice and apply it to my own work. So without the specific tools, 2 to 3 specific tools, this job will become difficult for you. Why? Because you don't know there are 10,000 tools. Some of them are paid, most of them are paid. I don't know which one I've used. So in your writing or in your knowledge sharing, actionable can be a great motivator for people to follow up what you said. Concrete. I showed you some data which was belonging to my YouTube channel along with my website. This can be observed and measured, not just theory. There's several times we hear about smart way of thinking, and then we see presentation defining the word S, M, A, R, T. Okay? Those good look on presentation. But in my entire lifetime, I have not come across more than 1% people who have gone ahead and used those in a tactical day-to-day life. So whatever you share, writing or video, if it can be concrete, people can go back and apply, it becomes all the more powerful. Last, specific. This is a precise advice for a particular situation. For example, if I were to tell you about a topic, how to communicate, versus saying how to communicate when you do not have positional authority. Difference. First is ideal for when you're making speeches in a college auditorium, class 12 people, students. But when you're talking about your ICP, they would like to hear more specific. How do you communicate in an environment which is bound by certain administration? You cannot say something, you can say something, you cannot say something. So if your writing and video follows this framework, it will have a chances of higher visibility amongst your ICP. I have a small exercise for you to just check. I'm going to give you a few words, and you tell me what is common between those words. Take a minute. Anyone take a wild guess what is common? Alphabetically, okay? Okay? Both are technically correct. Anything else? There could be multiple observations. Okay? Sorry? Oh, that's okay, that's okay. So you talked about ascending order, you spoke about technology, you spoke about some oddities in terms of placement. What else? Huh? Oh. Can you elaborate on that? Bang on. If you find these words in today's writing in social media, there's a 90+% probability it has been started with ChatGPT. So next time when you see somebody starting to post on LinkedIn and these words are there, he may have put his own brains, 30%, 40%, but it does 100% has an element of ChatGPT. In isolation, each word is fine. But when you see a pattern, that's when you start thinking. Now what happens in this case? People who you speak to, your ideal customer profile, he is either mature or will be mature because of this technology coming in for one more year. When he sees in your writing this pattern, what image does he have of you? Taking shortcuts. So be aware, be aware. Now, some of these are very, very highly repetitive by ChatGPT. Is there a way to write through ChatGPT without using these words? What prompt will you give? Avoid these words, should not contain these words. This is what we call as ChatGPT prompt engineering. Okay, I'll not go into deep, we have a separate session for that, but this can be a part of your writing. Will this keyword list increase as time passes by? Yes. Rishabh, is there an alternative which is free or as affordable as ChatGPT, which is even for mature audience? Can anybody guess an alternative to ChatGPT? I've used that. Bard or Quiltbot, Copilot. Okay, I've got all the names, but that one name is missing. I've tried all of this, by the way. Bard, okay. Gemini has not been the public, is not been launched yet. The API is there. Anybody heard about Claude? Please write it. C-L-A-U-D-E. C-L-A-U-D-E. 6-letter word. C-L-A-U-D-E. The free version is good enough to get started. I have personally tested at least 4 of the tools you mentioned, side by side, in terms of writing. Each tool will have certain advantages and disadvantages, and those are very subtle. If you're writing for a mature ICP who's well-read, he would not want to hear generic statements that does not reflect your expertise. So next time, go back and apply whatever prompt you're writing in ChatGPT, apply the same in Claude, writing-wise. You will see the stark difference. So what I use a combination of tools. I use 50% of human brain, 25% of Claude, 25% of other tools including ChatGPT. The combination makes you more powerful. So I'm not asking you to completely replace the human brain with just automated writing, no. Everybody has the image of Tony Stark. Tony Stark alone and the character, very genius kind of person, but he's not physically that powerful without his suit, right? So there was a term Anand sir spoken about. What was the term? CPS? Anybody remembers? Cyber? Correct. Tony Stark Iron Man is something like that. So you will have to use a blend of tools. You're using your human brain intelligence expertise along with certain tools which make you even more powerful. So let me carry on. So avoid using this word. You can form a prompt around it. Something that I want you to ponder over. I will take 2-3 minutes more. If you're not a social person like me, networking is very hard. If you're not tech savvy, creating content is hard. But if you do not get discovered by your potential customers, that is also your hard. So choose your hard. All right, so here's a checklist. If you want to take a picture, please take a picture. It's like a summary. If you are looking to create face-based training videos for your clients or your personal firm, Synthesia. Short form video already mentioned. Purposely, I have kept the list very, very short so that you are able to go back and apply. There could be 30 names here, but I will not include those. These are good enough. Most of them have free version. Gamma app. If time permits, I'll show you a small 1-minute demonstration. Otherwise, anybody who's looking to make presentations fast and don't have time, very beautiful app. Okay. So, what are you using? I use a combination of tools. I use 50% of human brain, 25% of Claude, 25% of other tools including ChatGPT. The combination makes you more powerful. So I'm not asking you to completely replace the human brain with just automated writing, no. Everybody has the image of Tony Stark. But He's not physically that powerful without his suit, right? So Before I take the Q&As and in some quick summarization, what can stop you? ये जो भी हमने सीखा बात की, I know the risks. रिस्क के ऊपर एक बहुत ब्यूटीफुल लाइन है. You find risk, else risk will find you. रिस्क मैनेजमेंट का टॉप 2 लाइन्स रहते हैं. You find the risk. If you don't, risk will find you, and that will not be a happy situation. So, keeping that in mind, I thought about this. So, what are the barriers that can stop you that moving out today out of this premises and going back to stop you from implementing this? Mindset. 100% mindset. This is what I wanted to elaborate. I'll start with the point number 3. I come from Calcutta, so I know the lingo. अरे पुगलिया जी, अब आप भी शुरू हो गए वीडियो बनाना. ठीक है. This will be one of the biggest barriers for you to go back and apply what you have picked up. मैं लिख के दे सकता हूँ. ठीक है. There's no harm when people say, they are saying jokingly, just like a banter. But कभी-कभी दिल पे बात लग जाती है. I am a private person, Rishabh. I don't want to record my own video. I don't look confident, you know. That's my perception. That's completely wrong, but that's your perception. So, I look so awkward in front of the camera. These are the mental barriers level 1. In psychology, in psychiatry, in counseling, if you know the barriers, the blind spots, it's easy to work around it. But if you don't know about it, what will you do about it? Next level. Rishabh, I don't have content creating team. I don't have the bandwidth to learn how to use the content tools. I totally agree. Which is why I kept my position to the point in terms of the tools I share, the mindset strategy that I share. ये दो mental barrier if you cross, it'll take some time to become more discoverable and you'll see the impact. Just quick ones. Pick any one platform, any one tool, any one format. Platform means it could be LinkedIn or Twitter. Pick one, only one. One format, written or video, only one. Apps, any one, either Loom or Descript, or if you have more time, then a combination of 2. Good enough. Pick one and repurpose the content. The thought that I want to leave with is, as much as we don't like to hear this, but this is reality today. Visibility trumps ability. You will see there are people less able than you in the area of expertise, but they are more visible, they get more business. It hits hard. But क्या करें? ये चीज़ों कुछ mindset, मैंने कुछ lines यहाँ जानबूझ के डाली हैं because this is more to do with your mindset. Mindset will propel you to use the tool that I am sharing with you and move ahead. So I think this is one of my last thing. किस चीज़ का? अच्छा, synthesia will take some more time. Yeah, just let me, there's so many things I had in mind, but I'm just keeping a track of the time. Was it Chat GPT or was? Claude, is it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm connected to the internet. We have a paid version, but unlike ChatGPT, you can actually use both the versions. I'll expand my screen. Give me one moment. So this is my weekend hobby, by the way. I read a lot about prompt engineering, although I might not write about it. Since I do not write about it, people do not know that I know so much. I'm not discoverable. I'm trying to change that. It'll take some time, but that's what happened. So yeah, any recent topics anybody has used for ChatGPT, non-law based, not related to law section? Let's say employment letter, okay. Some context. Let me see if I can give India context also. I'm not sure what it's going to throw, but I can definitely tell the maturity of the answer is slightly better, significantly better in some cases for ChatGPT. So not everything is important, but let me first finish this prompt's answer, and maybe 3-4 points you'll see which otherwise would have missed from your mindset. And I'll use probably the same point in ChatGPT. So let me pick 1 or 2 of them. Do not add very restrictive clauses around termination notice period, bond service agreement. Recently we had a case of TCS, some very senior personnel joining a rival firm. Okay, do not make false commitment, do not add clause on wages, leaves, and this could vary from state to state. Okay, now if I have the time, I might just give this in ChatGPT. I'm not going too detailed into prompt engineering right now because of the paucity of time. Same prompt. I know I'm taking a bit of your lunchtime, just 1 minute to wrap this up. Okay, specify terms, this. Avoid vague language, be precise. These are something that you can anyways pick up. So sometimes in certain cases, you'll find more mature words used by Claude. Overall. Okay, I think I'll just wrap it up at this point. Not sure if the time for questions or not, but yeah, I think if you want to connect on LinkedIn, happy to answer some of your questions and directions. Thank you so much for your time and attention and the extra 20 minutes you gave me. Yeah, any Q&A? Oh, yeah. Okay. I had 2 questions in mind, which I had mentioned. Okay. Skimmability is equal to? काफी prompt था. Name of 2 tools from the PPT. यहाँ से एक आंसर आया था सबसे पहले. All right. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. It was a really engaging session, and I've been seeing all your videos probably for the last 4 to 5 years, and it's really a pleasure to see you in person. Rishabh is there till last session because he has a session on the next hall post lunch. So if you feel, please feel free to correct. Please upar aiye na. In the meantime, I would request Pushpati Brimta to please offer a formal vote of thanks. Thank you.
First of all, thank you so much, Rishabh. This has been one of the most insightful sessions I've ever attended. So a few things that I would get to that I really appreciated in your presentation here. Your slides were really impactful. I really loved the single liner, the single word. Like it really creates an impact, and I really loved it. You told us what is not branding, which is very important because आज के दिन में क्या होता है कि there is an analysis paralysis because there's so much information out there. You don't know what is right and what is not. So that was amazing. And thirdly, you got straight to the heart of the matter, which was really amazing. So thank you so much.